Wow, here we go, dude. It's happening.
Yo, I think I'm more pumped just because this feels like just that we've been wanting to like connect in so long. That's why I was mostly pumped. I was like, dude, we get to FaceTime.
You use a podcast as an excuse to connect with each
Just
other.
a way to hang out, 100%. Do you have friends that'll randomly just FaceTime you?
Yeah,
Yes.
I just never pick it up. I'm that person.
I don't even really talk on the phone that much anymore.
Only to Nate.
Yeah, I was just about to say the only person I talk to on the phone almost daily is Jordan.
I'm not. I don't like talking to people on the phone. I just
Really.
Yeah, it's just weird. There's something about just like the convenience of like being able to not control the conversation, but just like respond when I want to.
The upper hand.
Yeah,
the upper hand.
Do you feel this way because of technology, or have you always been this way?
I think I probably have always been this way, but I think because remember like AIM, remember like AOL Instant Messenger?
Yeah.
I think that's when it started. I think that's like when it was like, oh, like I don't have to like talk to this person. Like,
remember, I wish they would do it for iMessage, but remember AIM had like status.
Yeah.
An away message.
Yeah,
like, remember that you could do. Yeah, you could be like
you have do not disturb on the iPhone, but I want an away message.
Well, do you remember like it was around that time? It was when do you remember your screen name, like your first one?
I do, and I'm not going to say it here.
Me neither. Mine's too embarrassing.
Oh, dude, I got no shame.
Mine was the name of a ska band.
Like an actual ska band, or like you made one up?
No, it was an actual. It was a phonetic spelling of a ska band.
That's incredible. I have to know what it is now.
Let's try and figure it out.
Now you have to say it.
Real big fishes.
No.
Five Iron Frenzy.
No, it was in the 5 Iron Frenzy world, but it was far worse.
Less than Jordan.
No.
That's so
it wasn't a pun. It was like actually it was okay.
Okay.
Yeah, come on, man.
Reference.
Just get it out. We're
it
in
was
safe
a
space,
reference
dude.
to
Nobody's gonna hear this.
Yeah. Okay. The first
it was
one.
a reference to the.
No, this is going.
It was a reference. It was a reference to the Supertones.
I knew it was.
But it
be
was.
That. I just knew it.
But there was no the. It was capital O, capital C, SUPATONE.
Supertones.
Yeah.
So
it was a big wait. Is it a big ska phase for you, or like what was the?
I was in a ska band that didn't have horns.
So what?
What is that? So it's just like
I guess. Imagine like a pop punk band, but with like upstrokes.
Well,
that's bad.
Okay.
I guess. I guess we sounded. Those exist.
Here, I'll tell you mine so you feel better.
Yeah, we got to know. What's yours, Reed?
It had to do with me being a gymnast. It was Gym Boy 100.
That's incredible.
Oh,
I was so young. People would hit me up on the web like creeps.
Yeah, no doubt.
And now that I've thought about it more, just the screen name
Gym Boy
being Gym Boy 100, I think it was just like a natural
That's a little problem. That'd be a little problematic now, I think, too.
100 is better than if you had been like arbitrarily just like picked 69.
That's true.
Gym Boy 69. Here's the thing. I hope eventually we show the video of this, because I hope you do not change your whole thing you got going on.
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, I won't for sure. Hey, I literally.
There's also nothing behind you except a lamp and some light on the wall. It looks like you're in prison.
No joke. Listen, I don't have anywhere to go in my house. And Angel was like, "It's not video, right?" And I was like, "Well, we can see each other, but we're gonna just do audio." And she's like, "Where are you gonna go?" I was like, "I'm gonna go in the room that's a disaster and stand in the corner because it's the only quiet place in here." But I was just thinking though, that all of y'all's look so good that I'm like, if we ever did do video, I gotta switch it up.
Dude, honestly,
like
there's
Jordan's house looks like Jordan looks like he's in a museum. You're behind like Sick Art Reed's room, and I'm like, where, dude? If you actually saw what's going on here, I got like suitcases and shit.
Okay, so anyway, Ben, what's going on with Tim? Is it Tim?
Yeah, apparently, they just played a show in the UK, and he played so hard that he doesn't know for a fact, but he might have like tore ligaments in his shoulder.
Oh man, that happened to dude from Sunny Day Real Estate. Remember that?
When did I don't remember that?
Oh, years ago, like when they were before they quit the first time.
I remember hearing that, Jordan.
Yeah, it's because he has that wild like swing
just, like,
over his arm, over his shoulder. So you have to learn 30 songs.
No, it's like 60. It's like 60 minutes. The thing is too, like, I mean, I played with him like years ago. But I mean, you guys know how it is. Like, it's like that
so
many
it's
years
not that
past.
hard. You're just complaining.
No, it's definitely hard. and yeah, there's a little bit of that too. But no, it's just like, 12 years later, you're like, I don't retain any of that, dude. It's
Yeah,
like,
of course.
It's like, so it's like,
But
And
muscle memory helps.
Muscle
Sure,
memory
muscle
helps.
memory helps.
Muscle memory helps, but I will say, when you go back to it, your like brain will remember it, but you won't nail stuff. Like I've noticed that even with Yellow Card, when they're like, "Yo, we're just gonna fly out and play this show," I know it all, but then when I'm playing the fills, it's like not great. So you have to like get into it, in my opinion, at least. Tim doesn't hit super hard though, does he?
well, I think it was like a weird situation where like monitors it was just like like
I'm
can't
pissed.
like hear, yeah, or also you just like, I can't hear anything, and I'm like, I don't know,
Yeah.
you get it.
So Aaron Gillespie must never be able to hear anything.
Have you ever had to do that? Like, have you ever had a moment where you're just like, you're overexerting because of I mean, we all at least I feel like Nate and I can be a little wild.
If I'm having problems like monitor, I actually play softer.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Really?
like I only play with confidence if I'm like 100% comfortable. Otherwise, I'm like full on timid Tambo.
See, mine's almost reverse of, because you said confidence. I feel like when I am struggling, I'm like, oh, if I just hit hard and go crazier, people won't notice. And so I like go crazy, and it's bad because then something will break, or I'm like, I just am like, oh, something's broken. I might as well like double down and just keep, it's terrible.
There were moments in Copeland where I was mad about something, or like the show was stupid or something, and we had a song that was the last song of the set where there was a section where I would just jam it out. We would just jam it out, and then I would do this like flam to let everybody know like
that was the last one,
measure or whatever.
Yeah,
and I would let it go for like 2 minutes.
Oh, when you were bumped,
you had the control. Yeah, that's actually that's always funny because I always think about that. I think we all have that moment in that moment, and I do it because why do I do it? I don't even know why I do it. You know what I mean? Like, it's like that kind of thing too. You just like black out, and you just like, next thing you know, you're like hitting too hard.
Reed, we were just talking about if you are in a situation live where something's wrong, like your monitor's not working, or something's going on, do you hit harder, like out of anger? Do you just like
No.
Yeah,
no,
see,
I don't think so.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I hit hard though anyway playing those songs.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
I don't know how much harder I could really hit.
Yeah.
But I feel frustration.
Is that it though? Is it frustration?
A little bit, but I don't get too bothered by that stuff because I don't have much in my monitors or my in-ears.
Mm-hmm.
Historically, I would just have drums, a little bit of Kenny's guitar, and that was it. So I would just operate knowing the song, and it didn't really affect me if I heard anything or not. And we really didn't have click for a lot of the songs either. So yeah, I was pretty easy going on that stuff.
Was everybody in Say Anything on ears though?
Yeah.
Oh. Why so you had click sometimes and not click for other stuff?
Because some of the songs just had changing time signatures and we didn't map it out.
Too
lazy.
Yeah.
And so maybe there were like a few songs in the set that wouldn't have a change in the time signature, so we'd have a click. But otherwise, we just kind of rolled with it.
Okay, so my question to you guys is, this is a good way to start it. Everyone monitor-wise, we were talking about mixes that one day, and I'm pretty sure the three of you said you guys don't have bass in your ears.
No,
100%. No
but
bass.
Here's the thing: you're playing fucking arenas, dude. I don't need to have bass in my ear when I'm playing the exit in and I'm sitting on top of the bass cab.
Yeah. But I guess my question is, like, yeah, you can feel it, but you still like need to hear the notes and stuff. No,
Do you?
I don't need to hear it. No.
Once
Wait.
you know the song, Copeland never jammed out really. So we just play the songs as they were on the record. And my feeling was always, I'm going to play the right part. And if everybody else is also playing the right part, we sound good. And if they're not playing the right part, that's not my problem.
But
If Bobby's not playing along with the kick drum part that he knows, but here's the thing, he was a great bass player, so I just played the kick drum part, and he would, he would walk around what I was playing anyway.
Yeah.
That would distract the shit out of me if I had it in my ears.
Okay. Wait. So just to preface, the three of you do not have bass in your ears.
I have a slight amount now.
Okay.
I switched over a little bit because with Jordan, it was just so loud bass. Like Dion would crank it beyond belief. So I would just, like, dude, I could feel it so well. And also, not to dig on him, when he's a great entertainer. So when he's running around too, when you're jamming like that, there would be so many moments that were so kind of wild that I was just like it depends on the band, I think. You know what I mean? Like with Amberlynn, though, I didn't get a lot of bass in my ears at all.
Well, I mean, in-ear mixes are like very personal.
Yeah. Oh,
everyone's just sounds completely different.
It is
when
so
you plug into somebody
funny.
else's pack, it's crazy. It's sometimes I plug into somebody else's mix, and I'm like, I would be able to play a show. Yeah. What?
Yeah, anyone would be disappointed hearing mine. Just some drums and a little bit of Kenny's guitar, and that was it.
Wow.
Well, it's not even disappointment. It's also like if you plugged into mine, that's probably why I have a little bit of tinnitus, is because the click is just like,
it's bad,
stabbing my eardrum.
The click was loud for me.
Over
and
time,
that's why we have issues with our hearing.
100%. We're all just complaining about it this morning. Like, I wonder why our hearing's bad.
The click sound has to be that annoying ping to like get to cut through it.
Yeah. Well, here's what's a funny thing is, way back in the day when we first started playing to click, I was just using the Rhythm Watch. You know what I'm talking about? The Tama Rhythm Watch.
Oh, yeah.
And that built-in click sound was like metal, like the loudest, so, and I was the only one on click. So I would just plug into that and I would have the tempos mapped out. And I would crank it, just absolutely crank it. So then when we started getting into, we all had click and we all did that. I had Joey transfer that sound over because I was so used to it. So still to this day, a lot of Amberlynn's click. And then when I went to go play with Yellow Card, their click is like a nice cowbell or something. It's like a dunk, dunk. And I was like,
curated,
this is way better.
But could you hear it?
And then
clearly?
Yeah, it's weird. It's like a mental thing. Like I thought, like over the years, I've gone the other way. My click gets quieter and quieter because I feel like I play better when I'm not overthinking it. And I had one show where the click was like messed up and it was so quiet in my mix and I was panicky at first. And then I was like, I'm just going to chill and play to it. And it was like I almost felt like I played better because I was just on the click, and not to sound cocky. I was just flowing with it more than I was like, all right, the click is so loud, and like trying to stay on.
Well, no, I guess at some point, if it's in the mix to the point where you can hear it, if you can, I would,
it disappears.
If I was practicing to songs. Yeah. I was like, if I can hear the click,
you're off.
If I hear it there, I'm not on.
Yeah. You don't want to hear the click. Truthfully, like that's how, because I used to freak out about, I would have them add as many hits as possible. So it's like, click, click. I would like, tick, 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 tick. I would want like a million clicks in my ears to be able to be like, oh, I'm on. But then I switched that too.
Do any of you guys, I can't have an accent on the clicks.
No,
it's just
me neither. Yeah.
If it's
same,
no,
just the quarter notes.
I also don't know how to count or read music. So some people are like, we were recording with the weather, and I think Tim was like, "Oh, you should do it on the 3," and I was like, "The fuck are you talking about?"
He said the accent on the 3.
No, we were like, it was like I was like doing tambourine, and we were going to do like a I was going to do like a tambourine single hit. And he's like, "Oh, they should be on the 3s," and I was like, "Yeah, you got to point at me."
Yeah.
I don't know what any of that means.
I need a visual representation of that, actually.
It's also, I will say, now that we're transferring into that, there's a weird thing with drummers and other musicians and guitar players or whatever, when they have ideas like that, when they're coming up with it on the fly, it's so easy to do that. I hate to be like, make excuses, but it's so easy to be like, just do it like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then so sometimes the visual does help. I've had that and I got no shame. If JJ has an idea and we're tracking drums and he's like, dude, you should do this. I'm like, dude, you're going to stand up and just count it off with your fingers and then be like, here it goes.
Yeah.
And it helps.
Yeah, I recorded some stuff with Joey Holman before Man on Man.
Yeah.
He had to do that. He was like in there with headphones on, and he was like giving me the like get bigger, like here it is, and I was just like, dude, this is the worst. But when you're learning it on the fly,
I know that's the thing. You have your habits or your way of playing, and then you need somebody to spell it out sometimes to.
Also, if it's approach. Like, if you feel like it should be somewhere and that's not the right thing, it's hard to get that out of your head.
100%. Conductor vibes too. That's why you have, you know what I mean? It makes sense when you see, like, you watch someone conducting and the way they move and stuff, it works. It's like,
Isn't that's what a producer does, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I still don't know what a producer does, but I mean,
yeah, that's why none of us use them anymore. Does anyone go to a producer anymore?
Yeah, but the conductor thing, I mean, everyone still does it in bands. Like, you know, we do it even without knowing it. Like, everyone's like looking at each other. Like,
yeah, if you're feeling it, yeah.
Even in the chaos, like, you're like, but the funny thing about the conducting and also just, I mean, the conversation of like a guitar player or a bass player coming up with the drum part is always going to be like
it's not going to work.
Funny thing. Well, no, but that's just, the funny thing is like sometimes. Well, sometimes when somebody shows me something, they're not a drummer. It's actually interesting because sometimes I'm like, oh wow, that's actually really cool. I wouldn't have.
You're like, wow, that's really cool. It's not physically possible, but it's really cool.
I've seen so many like memes and stuff about that. Like when a guitar player writes a fill, and it's like, you're like, yeah, dude, you go play it.
Well, the best part is like, yeah, then they don't understand that it's not physically possible,
and then they get upset.
And they're like, why can't you do that?
I thought you were good.
Like, wait. So I think it'd be a good idea to just explain why we wanted to do this in the first place. I guess I'll start with saying that we started a text group. How long ago? Like, how long ago has it been? Like,
no, years and years.
Literally a decade.
So
a decade?
100%.
At least 8 years.
Well, here, Ben, when did you and I first meet up in Eborn? When you started your thing?
Okay, yeah. So I had a website. For some reason, I had a website. I wanted to make a website that was like a blog, like a Tumblr, to just like interview my friends and like do like things drum related. And
Kick Snare Hat.
Kick Snare Hat. And then that sort of connected me to drummers that I like probably wouldn't have known it unless I did that, you know?
Yeah.
And you were one of the people.
Mm-hmm.
And we ended up meeting up in Ivor and like not talking about drums at all. And then like we just ended the conversation and like it was like,
dude, we chilled for like 3 hours, and the whole idea was like, you were like, hey, I want to come up and I want to like do like a small interview and we should like talk drums, and we literally sat down. And that was the first time we met, right?
Yeah.
And we just kicked it, and literally I think it was like 3 hours, and you were like, well, we didn't talk about drums at all. And I was like, yep. I was like, who cares? And then, but that was probably like 2015. Maybe before that.
I started playing with Copeland in 2015. So it was way before, because I knew Ben from, who were you playing with?
I was playing with Kevin, but yeah.
Like brand new before that.
I thought Amberlin was broken up when we met, because wasn't that part of it? Or no, was that Amberlin still going?
No, Amberlin was, dude, this was like in a weird way. It was like a long time ago.
Maybe 2012, 2013, because we broke up in 2014.
Well, I was still working with Brand New at that point, but we were on a break, and that's why I was like, I guess I'll fill my time and make a weird website about drums. And then, I mean, it's all foggy at this point, but I think you were, for me, you were like one of the first people I talked to about doing it. I think it's before I even had a website.
So all that to say, it was more than 10 years ago.
Oh, way more than 10 years. Because I'm trying to think. I started touring and working with the Brand New. I was 20, so I'm going to be 40 soon. It's crazy. So it's 20 years. So it had to be more than 10 years. I feel like.
Ben,
maybe
do you remember when we met?
I do. Was it at that show in Fort Lauderdale?
It was a show. Was it
Tall
Fort
Heart.
Lauderdale?
Tall Heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You remember what you called me?
Yeah. Captain America.
The first thing you said to me, and I had no idea
Yeah.
who
'Cause
you
look
were,
like,
what was
you
going
look like
on.
Captain America, dude.
Captain America.
Dude, I was like, I've never seen somebody look like this. I was like, why does he look like that? And no, I was like, he's
I
like,
don't know if I should take that as a.
okay, yeah, let me preface. Sorry. So this dude, I'm like, this dude is like in shape. I was like, this is crazy. And I was like, the first thing I said to you was like, you look like Captain America, and you kind of do. But then I didn't know that you were a gymnast. And then next thing you know, you show me this video of you like on what do they call that horse thing? The
pommel horse.
Yeah. So you show me this video of you on this pommel horse.
Pommel.
POM.
Pommel.
Is it pommel horse?
Pommel.
Or
No,
pommel?
pommel. Pommel horse.
No, pommel horse.
Are you saying
don't wanna
bungle?
Look that up.
I don't know. I think I think I knew Jordan first.
Really?
Yeah,
think
but I don't remember. It had to be through like it was through
It's like a Seattle thing.
yeah, but it had to be through like a St. Hood Reps, like a Derek.
That's what it was. I think it was Derek. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
St. Hood Reps. And then you came out and we had met that way. I think
Yeah,
it was
because I went
on
to
that
see
tour.
he was still with Brand New, and I went to
Yes.
see a Brand New show, and I think we met.
And then that's when we met. And then I think I met Nate, and then I met Reed. So just getting to the chat initially, I don't remember who started it, but I remember the funny thing I remember about it is us always being like, should we add somebody else? And then we just kept being like, nah.
We did add one. I won't name the person. And then
we did have one.
Oh, I remember.
Who did we add?
I'll tell you, I know exactly who we had it. And the reason why it didn't work is because it was a green bubble. We were like, this sucks.
Was
Wait,
it
who
really?
was it?
It was
Oh, that's right.
I was thinking of
that was when we had, so it was a full, we kept ours, the 4 of ours, and
Oh,
we
that's
started
right,
a
that's
new
right,
group
yes.
chat.
That's right.
And then
Right,
we
right.
were doing it in there, and it's like fun. But honestly, I remember the green bubble was such a bummer. We couldn't
Right.
and so I caught us all going back to the one that was just the 4 of us, and I was like, why are we doing this? Let's just stay here.
That's right.
What's really funny is that I actually talked to recently, and he still has the green bubble.
We're just
Oh.
a bunch. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is
It's
tough.
tough.
But we all are Apple elitists.
Hey
too,
man, people,
so,
people.
Maybe it's our
yeah.
problem.
It gives me the green bubble, like gives me anxiety.
Why is that though?
It's more of a I'm not sure if you got my message or not. That's the
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
what
that
it
too.
feels
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
It's the uncertainty.
If you have an iMessage conversation with somebody and it goes to a green bubble, that means their phone's dead or they're out of, so the green bubble with someone who normally has it, you just think like they're dead.
Well, back to the thing. Like the funny thing about it too is that we would did that, and I think we've just treated it as like a group chat in general. But the funny thing was when the podcast got brought up, like, should we do a podcast? Like the world needs another podcast, but it was funny because I know initially because I'm it's funny because do you think people would just want to hear us talk about drums? And then I was like, well, we're also not like your typical drummers, I guess.
For
is
sure.
the other aspect.
I'm not
of
even
it.
a drummer.
I'm
Well,
not anymore
well,
either.
That's not true.
That's not true. Once a drummer, always
Actually-
a drummer.
Actually, the other day, super late, John Rupp, old tour manager, John
Yeah.
Rupp sent me a DM on Instagram and was like, "Yo, did you change your number?" Which I did, and he's like, "I've been texting you and it went to
Ooh.
green." And
Do I need to call 911?
Life check.
no, he was like, "I have a little bit of a drummer emergency. Can you text me?" And I was like, I texted him and he never texted me back. But I was like, he's on tour with somebody and maybe their drummer got sick or something and they needed somebody to fill in for a show or two. And I was like, if he asks me to do that, I'm going to have to let
Wait,
it
so
down.
you never responded?
I don't know. Yeah, he must have gotten it figured out, but he never. texted me back.
He called 911. Like he still doesn't know that you're like
Jordan, I had a missed call from Rupp and I never hit him back.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was probably
That's what-
factually that.
Yeah. I think that's probably what it was.
Sorry, Rupp.
And then I was like, he's on tour with it's like an emo-y tour, but who's playing? Oh, something corporate, but he's TMing and running front of house, I think, for Spill Canvas.
Oh yeah,
And
he's been with them
I
for a
think
while.
I think he maybe was either going to say like, yo, do you know, because they were in Seattle, and I think he was
Do you
either
know
going to
somebody
ask
that
me
could
if I
play?
knew
Yeah.
somebody local, or if he was ask me. And so I was like, in the event that he does ask me, I'm just going to and I was like,
Wait,
Yeah.
you still don't know? You still don't know?
I still
Like,
don't know, but I like listened to the songs just in case. And I was
That's
How
like,
sick.
long ago was this?
this is a couple days ago.
Oh,
But
okay. You should probably
Yeah,
let
this
him
is
know
like-
you're good, right? I mean, I don't-
No, he was. But I thought that was funny that in his DM he said, I texted you and it went to green.
Yep.
So he was
Are you
assuming that
okay?
I did not get his text. Yeah. Uh-huh.
that's really funny. Panic mode.
But
He
then
just like goes like search party. Like
Yeah.
it's just like
But I did listen to some of those songs and I was like, if he's like, can you come out here tomorrow and play 8 songs? And I was like,
That's a lot.
no.
Yeah.
those. I don't really. It's been a minute since I've listened to that band, but I remember it being kind of like involved. Like it's not.
Spill
Yeah,
canvas
it's like,
for
you
sure.
know,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of ting. Look over that. You know.
Yeah. Well, like
Ting.
ting. Yeah.
I do.
You know what I'm talking about? Like
Yeah,
a little
yeah.
fill that ends with a bell.
Yeah. I mean, that's one thing. I mean, that's the other thing too. Like few and far between. I don't know. Like, there's definitely bands where I'm like, I could not play that.
100%.
Don't
There's
don't
that's
call
most
don't call
bands
me
for me.
Yeah.
for sure. Honestly, it's funny. Do you guys? Some drummers do love the like shot at stuff like that, but I think those type of calls are like my nightmare. Truly,
Yeah.
like, hey, can you fill in, or like, can you only have 5 days or whatever it is. It's truly like some drummers though. I've met a few that are like, oh yeah, like like they get excited about that stuff. It's truly a nightmare for me. I'm like, no, I need like time and all. Dude, one of our first shows with 30 Seconds to Mars, I think it was the first show, and we get there and something is going on, and Andy Sprague came up to me, he's our TM, and he goes, hey man, so Shannon, their drummer, he's sick and he's not going to be able to make a show, and they're asking if you will play drums. And I was like, not
Really?
a chance. For one thing, dude, why? I was like, what do you mean, like tonight? And he's like, yeah, like tonight. Like we were loaded in, like it was, and I was like, and they were like leaning heavy on it, like, dude, I think it'd be, and I was so firm in it. I was like, there is zero chance in hell that I'm walking on that stage. I was like, I know 0 songs by them. 0. Like,
Yeah.
you can't do that. You can't fake that.
That's true.
You can't just be
The
like,
thing is, I think there are some guys that can do it.
Well, like Josh Freese can do it. You know what I mean? Like there's like guys that like they're like that can definitely
Well,
do it.
Well, it's the
but
Nashville
it's-
numbers
this
thing.
is
They do
very-
that. Yeah.
yeah, but with in-depth music with like tracks
Yeah.
and stuff, like if you're
Right,
gonna
yeah,
vibe it, like that's different. I could do that if someone's like, hey, come up here, but they're like had full production, full this. So then their solution was like, oh, we'll just have our drum tech who absolutely rips and also knows every song do it. And I was like, why wasn't that your first thought?
Dude, I will tell you this: I would have paid money to see you play with.
Yeah.
So
that
did a
would've been
bunch.
amazing.
You mean in that situation?
Oh my god, dude! I can think of that morning. It's crazy that people can think that like that's possible.
I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind
in
the
my mind, that's not
challenge,
possible. In
but
my mind, that's not possible.
I'd probably say.
So
I mean,
Reed
yeah.
might
I
be
would
one of the
probably
only
say
ones.
no. This is very
Yeah, Reed, you
self-centered.
could do
I
it.
don't know if I'd say yes, but I would like to be asked. But no one has asked me that in like a 24-hour notice, so I feel kind of hurt by it.
Well, but here's the other thing too about that particular situation. You're also the front person of that band is Jared Leto.
Yeah,
Right.
So I could picture Nate. I could picture you on stage, like in him turning around and looking at you and just wondering what would go through your mind. Of
Yeah.
like,
Uh-huh. Like that ting part right there is my favorite. And you didn't play it. You're fine.
Pating. It's like a spittoon. It's like pating.
Shipping. Yeah.
It's yeah. Oh man. I think playing for any other band is a tough go unless you have ample time to like really get it. But I'm with you, Ben. There's certain bands that they could come ask me, and just knowing my style and how I play, I would instantly be like, yeah, not a chance. You know what I mean? Like, not even like the challenge is cool, but there's certain things that like I know myself, and it's cool when people are like, dude, you could for sure play that, and it's like flattering. But I'm like, I'm telling you, I know myself, and I cannot play these things. You know what I mean?
Well, I
Even
think
with a
there's
ton
also-
of practice.
There's also like a feel with the rest of the
Yeah.
band element too. So
Mhm.
you're like, if a freaking Chris Stapleton called you up and was like, you could definitely handle the parts, but there's a meshing that they have with that guy
100%.
because they don't play with a click and all that kind of stuff where you're like, yeah, I could play the parts, but it isn't going to sound like it's the song.
Very good point.
Yeah. I would go
the crazy
towards...
thing, on that Pink tour, the drummer Brian got sick, and a dude we went on and watched a few songs, and I was like, why is this? I didn't know, and I was like, why is this sort of a little different? And then they had just flown some guy in, and there's just a new guy playing this stadium, like, you know what I mean? Like,
that's crazy that you could hear it before you.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like what you're saying. It's like there's the feel, there's just like the way somebody hits. It's like it's gonna sound different, and I think that's the cool thing about drums in general is like we could all four of us could play the same part, and it would sound completely different.
Right.
You know. So it's like I think that's the
and
cool thing
other
about
musicians respond differently to different drummers. There's that element too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and I think that's truly, even when we talked about doing this podcast and it was like, are there a lot of drum podcasts or whatever? But I think that drums are such a unique instrument in that sense. Like, obviously, if you're super into guitars, you're going to listen to a podcast. But with drums, there's so much variables that even if you're not a drummer, I think you'd find it fascinating because it's like it comes to like all of our conversations over the last decade of like, what size sticks do you use? You know, what do you prefer? Like new sticks, others, you know, all this stuff. And obviously, I know there's nuance in other instruments as well, but drums, there are so many different ways. Like, Ben,
All right.
you play barefoot.
Moving on.
We're gonna start.
I've got a legit question.
All right, let's go.
Okay, so here's a question. How old were you when you first got a kit, and what was the kit?
I know exactly what mine is because my first CNC kit was a carbon copy of it. It was a Slingerland gold glass glitter from a yard sale. I was probably 8 or 10 maybe, and I ripped it. I hated the orange at the time, so I pulled it off and I covered it in tinfoil. Which is the best part is I got that idea from a guy, like an old rock dude in my town. He was like, "Yeah, I love a tinfoil kit."
How old were you?
Oh, it's 10 or 11 maybe.
Okay.
But then I had when I got my first CNC kit made, I looked up what that wood was and sent pictures of it to Jake and was like, just make me this in my sizes.
That kit is sick too. The one they made you.
Who knows where it is?
I know. I was gonna say you don't have it anymore, right?
I didn't get a kit for a bit. I've realized I was like into drums, so my buddy, his granddad had like an old kit. I think it was Rogers or something, but it was like all pieced together. So he had the snare at his house, and I was like, "Yo, can I borrow this?" And I just would take the snare in the backyard and just let it rip, like the loudest, just gotta. I practice like buzz rolls. So then,
wait, the
neighbors
backyard?
love that, I'm sure.
Oh, dude,
wait, the
backyard
why
of
the
my parents' house.
backyard?
Because
Why not the garage though?
Not the garage.
Wait, that's
No, the garage was.
dude. I
don't
wish
know.
I was in that neighborhood. It's just like some guy going nuts on a snare drum. You're just like,
that's
what?
literally because I would just practicing buzz rolls and paradiddle or whatever I could just do, and I was just like, rip out there. So then my parents were like, all right, this is insane. Let's look into a drum pad. So then I bought like a Remo drum pad. And so I did go backwards. I started with that snare.
You have was it the Remo drum pad that
Yep.
had the little buzzy?
Yep.
Yeah.
And the one where you could tighten or loosen
Yeah.
depending on, like, it had like a key. So I did that and I just annihilated that thing too. And then I wanted a kit, and my parents were like, oh, if you want one, you got to buy it. So I like saved up. I like mowed lawns, and then I bought Percussion Plus
Nice.
Oh, nice.
from Mars Music. Yeah. So that was like, it was, I don't even remember the size, metal hoop, you know what I mean? Like just, it was probably $250 or something, and then from there, I just pieced together stuff. But yeah, I think when I bought my kit, I was like 11 or something like that. So I did the snare and like the single fill stuff for years, honestly, before I like actually played.
You're
on a
high
kit.
single digits in age with the snare.
Yeah, but it's crazy.
Yeah.
Wait, but when
Yeah, it was.
when
And
did you
what's-
join Amberlin though?
I was 14, dude.
So you weren't even that far into. That's crazy. You
No,
got
dude.
a kid.
I literally got a kid at like 10 or 11, whatever it was. And then I probably played like, I don't know, 5 hours a day. Like
That's crazy.
I just played and played and played and played and played. And just, I was just obsessed. Like I would finish school and then I'd go into my garage and just play till my hands bled basically. And then but it was weird to like, and then I started playing with my brother in a punk band. But yeah, Amberlin when I was 14.
And the name of the
Crazy.
punk band was
Bottle Rocket.
Oh, that's too
It's a
good.
good
That's
name.
a good name. Yeah, that's not fun.
It's like, yeah, it's too
I know.
good. yeah.
Well, look, that I'm trying to combat your. My first kit was a Slingerland. Mine was a Percussion Plus.
Well, here's the other thing too. Your band, I don't know if it's going to make it, but the screen names also. I don't know if whoever's listening to this is going to hear what everyone's screen names were before the podcast exploded.
What was yours, Ben? You never.
Oh
said
yeah,
it.
that's right.
Oh, I
Oh,
never got
yeah.
there. I'm totally cool.
Yeah,
with
I
sharing
didn't
mine.
get to mine either.
So like it was around the time AIM was like, like I was pretty deep into the emo thing.
Don't try to explain yourself. Just tell us
Just
what
spit it out, Ben. Spit it out.
Okay, but here's the thing. I'm gonna preface
Emo
with,
Boy
You know
100.
how like people, I wish that was it, but you know how like people like would like capital this and then lowercase
Yeah,
this
yeah,
and then
of course.
like, So
Yes.
mine was definitely that. Mine was ill from within. Ill from within.
Oh.
Damn, that's dark.
Wow. That is
I
dark.
wasn't a dark
kinda
person,
sick,
but for
though.
some reason, in the moment, I was like, this is sick.
Mine was all. Mine was all caps. Punk Sticks STIX
Oh.
813.
Wow.
Punk Sticks,
That's
baby.
Nice.
813,
813.
dude, for life.
There you go.
Wow.
Tampa.
Punk
All right,
sticks.
Reed, first kit.
All right. So I was homeschooled. That's actually how I met Nate at a homeschool drama class, but that's a whole
No
nother
problem.
story. But homeschooled, and my mom wanted my sisters and I to learn an instrument. So she asked us what we wanted to learn. For whatever reason, like no one in my family plays drums or is musically inclined, but I chose drums because I guess as a like 10-year-old boy, it just sounds like fun to bang around on drums. But they basically said, okay, if you want a kit, you have to practice for a year. You're going to get drum lessons. You'll go every week and you're going to practice on a pad. So I did that for a year. And they said, okay, you did that for a year. Now you get a snare drum. So much like Nate in the backyard, except I was inside my room wailing on it.
Your
I had
parents
to
loved you
learn
more.
a snare drum for another year. Yes, exactly. And then after 2 years, so by the time I was a year in with the snare drum, then they got me a drum kit. And I think they were hoping I would just lose interest after a while before they had to fold and get me a drum kit, but I stuck with it. I was obsessed. Like Nate, I would practice all day, every chance I could get. And then finally they got me the kit and it was a Yamaha Stage Custom.
Damn, that's a good
Ooh.
one.
Damn,
And
it is
it
a good
was-
one.
I love it. I still have it in my garage. It's
Oh,
red.
I remember it.
I don't remember the drum size.
Is it a red wrap or is it a red stain?
stain?
Damn.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
But I love that thing. And
You should wrap it in tinfoil.
That's a good look. You're protecting it from aliens. Yo, real quick. wait.
so yeah, that's my
Before Ben goes, the only thing I'll say is when I was deciding to play an instrument, my brother's like, yo, he played guitar. He's like, you should play something so we could like play together. And it was a hard toss up between trumpet and drums.
Dude, me too. Yeah, that's
dude. You know what? I was interested in
Same.
trumpet.
We couldn't afford to get
Dude,
me a
I-
trumpet, so I bought a drum set at a yard sale. That's
What is it about the
Dude,
trumpet
I-
then for us?
ska-
Why was that
ska
a
is
thing?
the
God,
best,
dude.
I guess, but I didn't-
Ska,
the
baby.
best.
everything. All roads lead back to ska.
oh wait, I didn't say. So I was like 13 when I learned when I got my kit.
Oh, hell yeah.
How to play?
Have you guys ever seen that meme that's like pizza rolls, the ska pizza rolls tweet? It's like
Yes, Jordan, it's unreal.
ska is what 13-year-old boys hear when their mom says they can have more pizza rolls.
Yeah, Scott's
pretty
what
good.
plays in their head when they say you can have more pizza.
All right, Ben,
Unreal.
finish us off.
Yeah.
All right, Ben.
Oddly enough, so in middle school is when I my uncle played drums growing up, and he was in a metal band in Long Island. They like opened for like Metallica and stuff before like Metallica like blew up and stuff like
Whoa,
that kind of
no
thing.
way.
So I started band in middle school. It was the same thing, Nate. It was like I was going to play trumpet or drums, and thank God I picked drums. But so I did the same thing. My parents were like, stick to the pad. We'll see if you like, stick to it before we like spend money on a drum kit. But luckily, my uncle one day was like, would you want my drum kit? And I was like, so like, think about being like a 13-year-old kid. And like, my uncle was like I was like, he's the greatest. And I was like, he's going to give me his drum kit. So, it was a Pearl Export, chrome Pearl Export, and it was power toms. So like
the chrome,
that's
like the
beautiful.
chrome wrap.
Yeah, exactly. And when you look at him,
Like tinfoil.
You should wrap it in tinfoil.
Yeah. Oddly enough, they showed up the house and was wrapped in tinfoil, and but there were those toms that you would look at that for some reason, like it was an optical illusion. They seemed deeper than they were in diameter.
Yeah.
So I had this giant kit for like the longest time where it was like 2 up and 1 down, and black Remo pinstripe heads. They were like the heads that had been on it, like that, just that whole thing. And I don't have it anymore, unfortunately. I have the snare drum, but it was my kit for the longest time, and then eventually, what is it a maroon red or is it like a red?
It's more of a red.
Okay, because I had and then I got a stage custom that was like the same thing as Stay and stuff like that. But
very nice.
Yeah. So mine was a Pearl Export. I miss it. I probably would play that right now if I had it.
Yeah, I was about to say that sounds like kits I try and search for now.
I know that's actually. Yeah.
I know.
Don't you have one? You've been playing one.
Yeah, I have a Pearl. Yeah, and it's kind of power Tommy for sure. I think it's like, I can't remember, probably like 11, 13. You know what I mean? Like, so they're big or whatever it is. But yeah, that's
the one you have is the white,
yeah,
the Ramones one, right?
Yeah.
It's not an export. It's just like an 80s Pearl.
Does it have the super long lugs where they're connected?
No, that's what I wanted. That's export. Yeah, that's the export.
That's what
mine's not an export technically. It's like a Pearl. It just says like, and it's not a Masters either. It's like a Pearl maple kit. I don't know. I can't even find like a badge on it that says like a name, but I love that kit. Super into it.
I couldn't get rid of my stage custom. I have too many drums, but that's one set I won't get rid of.
Do you still have all your drums?
I do. I've got the stage custom.
Every kit you've ever had.
Yeah, 3. And I need to get rid of 1.
Wow.
And I'll probably get rid of 1, but I'm going to keep my CNC and my stage custom.
Yeah. Are you getting rid of the
What's
Spawn?
the other one?
Spawn.
You have a Spawn kit?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Throwback.
I loved it. I mean, it served me well, but I don't really need it. You guys want it?
I have zero drum kits.
Do you want mine?
Well, you live in New York. You can play in the backyard.
True.
All right, one follow up.
Yeah, dude, that's Nate. You have that's the best. I wish I could see young Nate.
That would be.
I was probably still shirtless like I am now, just ripping. Nothing's changed.
You're gonna go after this. You're gonna go in your backyard,
just
and
rip on a snare drum
like you always have.
Yep.
All right, I got one.
Stop.
I've got a follow up question to the kit now. Now that we know what we all got starting out, how did you guys learn? Did you listen to other songs and play along, or just kind of rip on your own?
Punk band at church, man.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's how you learned. Like
you're
you
not
just
go
thrown
in.
in.
Is that it? You're not.
I mean, we my friends and I want to start a punk band, and I actually we did a lot of like MXPX covers and stuff, but I ended up singing for that band because my friend Matt, who Nate knows, wanted to play drums, but we would play, sometimes we would always do like basement, like a VFW hall, like local stuff where there'd be like 40 bands playing, but we would do 2 a night sometimes. So he would play the first one, then play the first couple songs of the second show and get tired, and then we would switch off.
That's sick. Tag out.
Ben?
I still wish you had the tinfoil one.
Me too.
I think about it all the time.
Who wants to? You want to go, Nate? Go, Nate.
Sure. What the
Nate.
question was, where did I learn? Basically,
Like, how did you learn on the kit?
I honestly think I just listening, and then I remember buying a couple VHS drum videos of Chad Smith.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
There's like one he did.
One,
and I just remember watching it, and like, even to this day, I think he's a great drummer for that world for sure. But yeah, I would just watch stuff, and like, there's no YouTube or anything back then. So that was it. Like I would buy VHS videos from Mars or whatever that was like the local music store. And then, I guess just listening and practicing. I like won something to get like a drum lesson at Mars. And so I did one drum lesson, and I remember I was like, I questioned everything. I was like, maybe I shouldn't do this because the drum, it just was so confusing to me. So I was like, I'll just go back and do my own thing. But yeah, just, I guess that I don't really have any memories of being like learning in the sense of like someone teaching. I had a couple drummer friends that were like, showed me a couple things here and there. They'd be like, yo, try this or whatever. But yeah, just practice and trial and error. And I used to record myself VHS too. I'd record myself and watch it back and be like,
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
and I'd be like,
Do you still have those?
no, maybe my mom might. Dude, I found a tape. I think I posted it or I sent it to y'all. Did you see it? The tape that I had, it was like all checkered out. I did it with like white out and a Sharpie. It said drums on it. Oh, I'll send it to you.
No.
Dude, it's me going, hey, I'm like 11 and I'm like, this is Nate and this is me playing drums. And it wasn't VHS. It was just like a tape recorder, and it's me. And I would listen and play back and listen, and I'd record over it. You know what I mean?
Is it checkered out in like a ska?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Dude, I'll send you guys a picture like right now.
All right, Ben.
Let me think. Oh, so I guess I had like band in middle school. So that whole thing where you play snare drum or bass drum is where I like started. And then eventually I was like, I want to play drums, like a drum set. And I got lessons from this guy at a local university named Gary Leone. Dude, he had.
Sorry, that's not a funny name, but I was not expecting Leone.
No, dude,
the way you said it
in your mind, picture what this guy looks like. He had the sickest mullet and was like pencil mustache. This dude, like he taught me for 2 years, and I honestly, it's like, because I think the weird thing about drums and later on in life, I'm glad somebody like taught me like some sort of technique.
Yeah,
you know?
damn.
Like,
that's why you're the best.
You know,
we just figured it out, boys. It's why Ben is superior. He actually got lessons.
Gary Leone.
Not true, but I have to show you guys. I pulled it up. So the book that he gave me. Do you guys remember the drummer Carmen Apis? Right, Carmen Apis. He was in was he in Deep Purple? Anyways, Nate, I don't know if you can see this, but this was the book.
Oh,
that is
my
awesome.
God.
So I learned out of this book, and the cool thing was it was like, you know, it's just normal, like super easy drum beats.
Yeah.
But I remember I went to the music store to pick the book up, and oddly enough, maybe just the mullet was like kind of in because everyone in the music store had a mullet. It was just like a weird period of.
I think that's still kind of how.
Yeah,
you're right.
Well, these guys were just like, you know, like,
no shade to our music store family.
No, but it was also a different. I mean, guys in like early, like late '90s in the music stores is a different breed than a person in a music store now. There's just there's just like it's like a bunch of guys that I guess for lack of better explanation didn't make it. I guess, and then
they would love a Spawn kit.
They would love a Spawn kit. They would also love the opportunity to fill in for
sure.
But anyways, I would go to that store to take lessons from this guy, and then eventually I just like stopped taking lessons, and I did what you did, Nate. I just like would play for 5 hours a day, like just playing along to like anything.
Yeah,
like, I would just put on. You know, I honestly played along to Amber Lynn too at one point. To be honest with you, but
okay,
yeah, that's how I sort of started to learn. And
that's sick.
Last but not least,
yeah, here we go. So I would just listen to a bunch of music. I would basically throw on the radio to hear songs that I liked and try to play along. That's really how I learned. I also got a CD player, and my first CD was DC Talk Jesus Freak, and that's I played that front to back all the time.
What's that dude's name? Rick. He was sick.
I don't know the name.
Yeah, what was his name?
He ran sound at what was the huge venue that like freaking Michael W. Smith owned? Rocket Town.
Rocket Town.
Oh yeah,
the venue sucked.
Rick May. Yeah, Rick May is
was Rocket Town the
skate park one,
sort of Christian, right?
Yeah, and it was just sounded awful.
Yeah, I think it was owned by Christian stuff, but it was like they had regular shows there.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just in Nashville, right?
Yeah,
I saw Under Oath there, and they let a bunch of people on stage, and the venue got really pissed. Ooh. And the last thing I remember before I walked out of the venue was like, fuck this place. We're never playing here again. Everyone get on stage is what they said.
Nice.
Anyways, yeah.
No,
sorry.
you're good.
Sorry,
That was really
go
it.
ahead.
And then I did get some lessons. I can't remember the guy's last name, but it was David. And he taught me some good stuff. And
Grohl.
Yeah.
David Grohl.
His name-
Very lucky.
his name
Yeah,
was
I
David.
Started with
I
a
don't-
G.
It was like it's weird.
But yeah, he taught me a lot, and I eventually played in a church, and that's how I actually learned to play with other people. Was youth group.
Yeah.
And
I would
Nice.
venture to guess most of the guys that we know, it started
Church.
in or around some sort of church
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah. I played in church too. Yep.
I also think just musicians in general, that's sort of,
Yeah.
it's an easy in.
yeah, if you're a teenager, what else, like weekly, like opportunities to play with on a sound system with decent gear with other people.
It was
It's like,
great.
What else are you gonna
Yeah.
do?
Yeah.
Wouldn't fucking go near it now. But
It's funny because there's a lot of my homies that grew up in like Southern Baptist church. I have like ripping chops though, and that was
yeah.
not me.
yeah.
Like some of those dudes can just shred beyond belief, and you can only get that from certain type of churches that are like the musicians around you are just absolutely incredible. And
Yeah.
it's like when I played, it was more like other dummies my age that were also just like, oh,
I was like playing with
This is
when I played
cool.
church, it was like hot rods and like I didn't have. I think the other thing about those churches is like you have to be like challenged. Like there's somebody else wants to sit behind the kit. At my church, I was the only
Yeah.
person that was like going to play drums. So like it wasn't there.
Yeah, I remember my church had a bunch of like homies like frothing at the mouth to be like, it's my turn. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
the church gear is like hot rods playing Z custom cymbals.
Yes. Yes.
The-
yep, the
Yeah.
thickest. Yeah, you ain't getting no got a king with
Like-
those
Yeah.
hot rods.
But a king. Yeah. Well, dude, I'd say that there's no more iconic duo than hot rods and a Z custom. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
That's the name of this episode, Hot Rods and a Z.
I like it.
It's perfect.
Before we go, rapid fire question for each of you. Do you have a sound check chop that you play every sound check? You have the same beat. This is what you play. Ben has one. I definitely have one.
I don't sound check. I let the help do that.
Man, I was about to say Nate doesn't do his.
That's incredible, dude.
Nate's like, I've actually never been to sound
What's
check.
a sound
What's
check?
it like?
I love. Hey, you know what's so funny is I love leading with that vibe, even though I literally don't have a drum tech anymore, and I haven't for like 8 years, and I do everything myself. I absolutely do. I do sound check, and I absolutely do not have a thing that I play. I don't have my brain. My brain goes blank, and I just if someone's like, "All right, now the whole kit, like that whole thing," is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Dude, nothing. I'm just hit stuff. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
Nothing like hearing whole kit gives
anxiety.
me the most anxiety
All right, whole kit.
I've ever had in my life. And then I start, dude. I anytime I do that, I'm like, it's like, dude, I hope nobody's in this room because
The worst part of this,
So
I sound
true.
insane.
I have a beat that's like simple and it does get the whole kit in there, but it's the frustrating part is, or the anxiety inducing part is that if you're at a club, that's the first like real noise
Mhm.
that's been made all day, and the entire venue staff looks at you with like
Yeah,
stabbing
like
eyes.
what's wrong with you?
Here we go. This motherfucker is
So
like,
true.
ripping on the custom.
No,
I
it's
couldn't
good.
agree more.
Well, dude, I'll play like a drum fill that's like it's just like, dude, you'll never use
Yeah.
that. Why are you playing
Yeah.
that? Like what?
Right,
Like
right.
what do you?
I've
What do you
never
think?
played drums so bad than after someone says full kit. That's facts. Like
100%. That's the worst time to play drums. It's the worst time to play drums.
Yeah, the stage hands are like, God, this
100%.
show's gonna suck. I just
And then
sit
fast
through
Yeah,
this.
the
forward 2
only-
hours later, they're like, I was right.
Yeah. This show sucks.
It's just the most embarrassing feeling when you're up there on your own and you have to
You-
just play something.
All right.
Also, I'm like, dude, you don't want to hear. Why do you want to hear just the drum?
It's the
What
dumbest
do you mean you want to hear the
instrument
whole?
ever. It
kit?
is,
Yeah.
yeah.
Why do you want to hear my stupid ass play
Hey, wait.
drums by myself?
Have any of y'all ever done a drum solo competition? Anything like
God, no. No
Hell
way.
no.
I would
Hell
never.
no.
that? All right.
I have. You're.
Is that the one that you won?
I've done
Is that the one that you won
I've
the
done-
lesson to?
I've done 3.
No
Three-
way.
3 full on, like, get in front of everyone and rip drums. Like, you have 2 minutes, you build a drum solo, you have to do. And I remember at the time when I was younger, I was like excited about it. Now the idea of it instantly, not just anxiety, it's just awful. I'm like, who wants to listen to that? Who wants to like watch that? It's just brutal. But yeah, I did 3. The first one I did, so determined. I didn't even make it like that. It was like 2 months after I started playing. But the other ones, dude, I remember that anxiety was like absurd. I think that was the most I've ever been nervous, even with like playing shows and stuff. But that's funny. None of y'all did that ever?
No.
Or, like, local music stuff?
So like Guitar Center, remember when Guitar Center was doing the you could like
The drum
work
off.
your way up and like then go to LA and
Yeah.
like play like
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I
yeah.
went
They
to
still
the
do
one at my Guitar Center. I didn't play. I just wanted to like, go check it out. And even just watching, I was like, this is crazy, dude. I was like, why would you want to do this?
Yeah.
Now that I
Yep,
think about
that
it,
was
I
me.
People
did
did it.
do something. It wasn't like a full-on competition, but it was part of getting lessons with that instructor I mentioned, Dave Grohl. And he basically
He's like,
got
who
Heard
he
of
got a few of us. David Grohl. He got myself and some other drummers that he taught together in this recording studio. And so we had to prepare. We would play along to a track that he gave us. We were assigned some kind of jazz track, basically, that we had to play along to and then develop our own stuff around it. And it was anxiety inducing.
Yeah, scary.
Yeah, I had to do that. And
I won't even, if I go to a drum shop, if I'm like at Revival and Jose's like, I'm like, oh man, this kit's beautiful. He's like, oh, go ahead and sit down. I'm like, no, I'm
You're like, I'm
upset.
good.
No,
No, I'm
Yeah,
good.
no
I'm good.
way.
I'm good.
Same.
No,
I
I'm not gonna
can't-
I'll take your word for it.
I can't play around other drummers. I don't like it.
I will say this. Now that we're talking about this, there is I have a pet peeve when people try cymbals out at a music store. The way that they play them, I'm like,
It's
yo,
brutal.
you don't play like that. Like,
You also don't stand over it and hit down.
no, yeah, and like,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they put it on a stand and they put it like belly button height and they hit it like this. It's like, in what scenario are you going to hear the cymbal from there? Like, that's not,
I can't wait to get guests on here that are actually drummers that love
Yeah.
drums, and it's just all of us.
like,
which we're,
incredible,
Like-
incredible drummers,
Yeah.
and we're all like,
dude,
dude,
I think
so
that's.
like,
I will say that's probably we're probably in the minority of percentages of drummers that feel that
Probably.
way. I think
Yeah.
drummers are like, oh,
Well, I mean,
love-
clearly, like YouTube, Instagram. I mean, like it's a
Yep.
it's a world. It's
For
like,
sure.
There's so much like content of drummers just like being drummers online. It's like
Yep.
it's clearly a thing, and I think we're just
Yeah,
the
people
ones
love it.
that, like, we're just like, we don't like that.
We're like, this is stupid.
I even playing live, I'm like, how do I maneuver my rack tom in such a way that I'm totally hidden?
Yeah.
Yep. That's why I started playing big. That's why I started playing big kick drums. I was like, how do I hide behind this?
Well, that's the. I guess we should preface that we're also looking to get people like guests on. We're gonna have like people come on in here and talk
talk.
with us. If you've made it this far,
Keep going. If you made it this far.
I think that's the joke. Is if you made it this
Yeah.
far.
till next time.
All right, Reed, send us
send-
off by saying the podcast name in a funny voice.
Drums. The end of Home Improvement.
Yes,
What
when
I'm
it
thinking
goes,
of.
but
Yes.
it's drum.
That's
That's what we need.
Perfect.
Drums.